Well, hello, it's so nice to see you. I'm Carla. Welcome to my house and welcome to my 2020 Christmas house tour. I hope you enjoy the decorations. I hope you're in the festive spirit, and I thank you so much for joining me today because it always makes my day that much more special when you're a part of it. So come on in. I haven't decorated for Christmas in at least 15 years, if not longer, and I am absolutely thrilled to be able to do it this year. I suffer from depression and chronic fatigue, and over the last few years, those two conditions, the chronic fatigue syndrome and the depression, just sucked the joy right out of me and sucked the life right out of me. And I'm telling you this in case you suffer from something as well, that I understand. And I want you to know that it's okay to have bad days. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay if you don't feel like your Christmas is a Norman Rockwell painting. It's okay to not have that Christmas spirit. And I hope that maybe this video today will give you a little bit of joy, because I have finally found my Christmas joy after all of these years. My mother passed away this summer, and she always did Christmas up so big at her house. And so now I'm taking over that tradition, and that gives me great joy. I also lost my job this year because of COVID. Yes, I'm one of those people that you read about who got laid off because of coronavirus. And we've all had a tumultuous year. 2020 has not been a good year for any of us. And so I hope that you find a little bit of happiness in this video. I hope you find a little bit of joy. And I hope you enjoy my Christmas home tour, such as it is. As you can see, we have a purple explosion in this house, and there are reasons why we chose the color purple this year. Pretty much everything is brand new because I hadn't decorated in so many years, and purple is Big Daddy's favorite color. It also represents royalty, and because of that, many believe that it is representative of Jesus Christ, our Savior, whose birth we celebrate at Christmas. So most of the decorations are new, but I do want to show you a few that are very sentimental. Come over here, let me show you this one. This one right here, Big Daddy gave to me on our very first Christmas together. We had only been married less than a month. We hadn't even been married a month on our very first Christmas together. And the ornament is beautiful. It's Lenox china, but it's not so much the ornament that is so sentimental. It's the card that the ornament came on. It says, "Carla, Christmas lights will be brighter with you in my life this year. I love you so." So I not only put the ornament on the tree, I put the card that it came on as well, so that I'll never forget that first Christmas together. I like to collect ornaments from places that we visit, and last Christmas I spent the holidays at Graceland. So we have Elvis representing on the tree this year. I picked up this ornament at Graceland. And this particular ornament came from when we spent Christmas in Ireland 2 years ago. So we spent Christmas in Ireland 2 years ago, Graceland last year, and this year we're going all out and creating our own not blue Christmas, but purple Christmas. So we do have a few sentimental ornaments on this tree, and I'll show you another tree that has some sentimental ornaments as well. have some wonderful Christmas memories from my childhood. I remember getting my first bike. I remember getting a metal push car that had the little push pedals that you could drive it up and down the sidewalk. Do you remember those, the little metal cars that you could drive as a child? Barbies, lots of Barbies. But as I look back on my favorite memories, I remember that my favorite things are not things at all. And one of my most treasured Christmas memories is when I was a child. My grandmother died on Christmas Eve when I was 8 years old. And I remember so vividly now, not understanding it quite as a child, but it means so much to me now when I look back, how hard my parents tried to keep that Christmas as normal for me as possible. And my grandparents lived on the entire other end of the state. We lived at the beach end, they lived on the mountainside, and that was a 12-hour trip at that time. So here we were driving on Christmas Eve, and my parents, especially my father, kept assuring me that Santa would find me even though we weren't going to be home on Christmas Eve. And back then, before you could pull everything up on your phone and track where Santa was, you listened to the radio. And the radio stations would tell you where Santa was in the world at that time, at any given moment. And so he would find a radio station while we were driving that was giving the Santa updates. And as we would drive and that radio station would fade, he'd find another radio station that was giving the Santa updates. And he'd say, "See, honey, he's getting closer. He's coming to find you. I promise he's going to find you." Well, when I woke up Christmas morning, Santa had indeed found me, even though we had to travel all night, and even though we weren't at our house, Santa miraculously found me. And I will never forget that, and I will never forget what it must have taken for my parents. Here my mother had just lost her mother. She had just lost her mother, like I lost her this year. And she had just lost her hours before, but she sacrificed herself for her child to make sure that her child's Christmas was special and magical and memorable. That touches my heart to this day. I really like the way the mantle turned out with the purple cone trees and the bling ornaments and the little bit of glitz and glam and glitter that's thrown in there. And most of my decor is very non-traditional this year, particularly with the colors, but there are some things that are family traditions that you just can't shy away from, and I don't want to shy away from them. I want to keep those traditions alive and well. I know a lot of people choose Christmas stockings that match their decor every year. Not us. We have these beautiful stockings that came from my mother many years ago, back before everything was personalized and back before you could get everything monogrammed. Mine is about 30 years old, and Big Daddy's is at least 22, maybe 25 years old. When he came into my life, she had one done for him as well. Back in the day, there were only two places that you could get a personalized stocking, and that was either Lily and Vernon or LL Bean, and you had to have wait weeks and weeks and weeks to get them. She special ordered these. Like I said, mine came first and then Big Daddy's, and I just absolutely love them. They have the needlepoint. Mine has the snowman on it. His is the needlepoint Old World Santa, and these go up on the mantle, and even though they may not match the purple decor perfectly, I would never replace these for anything in the world because they came from my mother and father. And I have to tell you the story as to why there is a Stuart Little Mouse stocking. We have a joke in this house. Well, first of all, we love the story of the Christmas mouse. That's something that we enjoy every year, and we love that tale of the little mouse at Christmas time. Well, that became a joke in our house because when something would go wrong, or a light would flicker off and on, or sometimes you say you have gremlins in your house when something happens and you can't explain why it happened, we would always say, "Oh, must be the little Christmas mouse, must be the little mouse." Now, We don't have mice in our house for real, okay? Don't want to lead you to that impression. But we would always say, oh, the little mouse is up to his tricks again, up to his shenanigans, and he is always up to shenanigans around this house. Or if someone would make a noise, or one of us would make a mistake, or we lost something, couldn't find it, we'd say, must be the little mouse. So the little mouse has kind of become a little part of our family, if you will, a little imaginary part of our family, and he comes out every Christmas, so he has his very own stocking, and yes, Santa does leave him a cheese stick in his stocking every year. This amazing poinsettia came from Big Daddy. This weekend is our anniversary, and traditionally he sends me 2 dozen yellow roses for our anniversary. Well, this time he surprised me by presenting me with this amazing poinsettia, and the reason he chose this instead of his standard 2 dozen yellow roses was because he said, honey, you're decorating the house for the first time in decades for the holidays, and I wanted you to have something that would match your decor for Christmas. How sweet was that? I mean, how sweet, how touching. So he had the florist make this up specially with a silver bow. He said she started to initially put a gold one on. He said, no, I want a silver bow because that's the main color in her decor, along with the purple is the silver. That's her accent color. And this is a very rare, very new poinsettia. It is a new breed according to the florist. It's newly released, just out. You've never been able to get these before in the United States. It has white petals with pink veining throughout it, green veining as well. But the biggest difference in this breed is the centers of the flowers are green. They're not that traditional color. So this is a green and white poinsettia. So if you have a nursery or a greenhouse or a garden center near you, I don't know the name of the breed, but see if they have this amazing new release, this amazing new breed, and you can be one of the first to have it in North America. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? So thank you, Big Daddy, for this special Christmas decor this year. This tree may look quite sparse to you, but there's a reason for that. This tree, while I did say that I haven't decorated in more than 15 years, Big Daddy has put a Christmas tree out here in our sunroom every single year since September 11th, 2001. And he did that with the red, white, and blue lights to commemorate, to honor, to respect, to remember. And we have kept that tradition up ever since that day. So every Christmas we have a red, white, and blue Christmas tree, and throughout the years I've added a few little ornaments here and there. But this year I added our congressional ornaments. A few years ago, Big Daddy ran for Congress. He is an elected official. He has been in elected office for more than 34 years, and he ran for Congress a few years ago. And because of that, we have received over the years various gifts that are the official U.S. congressional ornaments. These are not something you can just go out and get your hands on really easily. These were given as gifts to us to the man who did win the congressional seat, the man who did become our congressman. So each of these that you see is a U.S. congressional ornament representing the Capitol at Christmas. They're made out of brass and they're absolutely beautiful. Each one has a different year. My favorite one is probably this one though. This one right here. Because the blue sky behind the Capitol is stained glass, and I love the way the light shines through that. And I'm not going to show you all of them, but I do have to show this one. This one actually is not a congressional ornament. This is from the city of Norfolk, Virginia, the largest city in Virginia, and my hometown, I might add. And the official symbol of Norfolk is the mermaid, and this was presented as a gift to Big Daddy from the city of Norfolk for his political work and all of his charitable work. Around the bottom of the tree I put these patriotic baskets. These came from Longaberger, and they're special limited edition. These are the inaugural baskets that they put out for every presidential inauguration every 4 years, and I have collected them ever since the series started. These are here to represent soldiers. Yes, soldiers. Big Daddy started giving these to me when I started something called Project SOS, Support Our Soldiers. And what Project SOS stood for was sending care packages to men and women serving in the war on terror in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I, by myself, sent nearly 3,000 care packages to those men and women over there fighting for our freedom. And to commemorate that, Big Daddy started giving me these various patriotic Santas each Christmas, because my favorite thing to do for the soldiers was to send them care packages for Christmas. Now, I would send them care packages all year long, but I loved putting together special care packages for them for Christmas. And I would stuff them with stockings and things that they couldn't get, like non-perishable cheese, and sometimes it was Velveeta, but you know, it would work because, and I'll tell you why I did that, because I would often ask the soldiers, is there something you would like? And one girl said to me, I would love some crackers and cheese. You can't get that here. So I went to Pepperidge Farm and got some cheese that could be sent, that was sealed and that didn't need to be refrigerated, and some of that big beef stick and some crackers, and that was her Christmas feast. And how humbling that was to me. Here we are in the United States having our big Christmas dinner, and that poor child in Iraq just wanted some crackers and cheese. I will never forget that. That was one of the most humbling things ever in my life, and doing those packages was one of the most humbling things I've ever done. Now, I did it by myself for years, but over the years people in the community found out about it, and they started contributing goods and money for me to keep that work up. And so by the time it was said and done, we sent somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 care packages during the war on terror in Iraq and Afghanistan, and that's what these represent. They were given to me to represent my kids, because every single one of those soldiers was one of my kids. These iridescent Christmas balls that are suspended from an extra long curtain rod, if you can believe that or not, in the bay window in the dining room. These are extra special to me because Big Daddy and I were married at Thanksgiving years ago, and we went to Europe for 3 weeks, so when we came home it was Christmas. And my dear cousin Deanna and her mother Joyce, my dear cousin Joyce, gave these to us as Christmas gifts. They're blown glass and they're absolutely gorgeous. They gave these to us as a wedding present, so that when we got home we would have Christmas decorations to decorate with on our very first Christmas. So these will always be a treasured heirloom. And I think they look great up here. It's like floating bubbles up here above the bay window. And they capture the light just beautifully. This is probably my favorite thing in the house for Christmas. My mother and I collected these pieces over the years. I started out with the basic set, and throughout the years she added pieces to it for me, so this is extra special to me. And yes, we even decorated the bathroom this year. Nothing too crazy. Love this shower curtain. Absolutely loving that. The shower curtain goes perfectly with the rest of the decor in the house. And that's why Christmas home tour, I didn't decorate the whole house, but I did show you the rooms that I did decorate. I hope you enjoyed it because I enjoyed doing it and I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm always happy when anyone stops by and visits because you're the best part of this channel, and having you here just makes my day so much more special when you keep me company. I hope you'll subscribe. Hit that red subscribe button. It's right down there. Right down there. Yeah, right down there. Just hit that little red subscribe button and hit the notification bell next to it so you'll never miss one of my upcoming videos. Also, give this video a big old thumbs up and share it with your friends, anyone who might need a little bit of Christmas joy, who enjoys bright, colorful things and maybe a non-traditional home decor tour. I'm coming up on my anniversary on YouTube, and I want to thank you so much for being here with me all this time. I also want to thank my family and friends who have stuck by me throughout the years. In those bad years when I didn't have the Christmas spirit, when I had lost my joy, I thank you for being here. A lot of times you didn't know what was going on with me because I didn't tell it, but I'm telling you now because I know so many suffer, and I know this time of year is so hard on so many people who have chronic fatigue syndrome and depression, and those two often go hand in hand. The chronic fatigue makes you depressed, the depression makes you fatigued, and it's so hard sometimes to push through, but I hope that you will find in your heart a little Christmas joy, and maybe I brought you a little bit today. So until my next video, keep your head, heels, and standards high. Much love to you. Mwah! From our house to yours. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Holidays. I love you dearly. Bye-bye.